All right, this is Sarah from Let's Master English, and today we're diving deep into a topic that might sound a little counterintuitive at first: how to improve your English by teaching others. Now, you might be thinking, Sarah, I'm here to learn, not to teach, but trust me on this one. This isn't just about charity or being a good Samaritan, though those are certainly positive side effects. This is a powerful, often overlooked strategy that can supercharge your own language learning journey. So, grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's get into it. The unsung hero: why teaching is learning in disguise. Think about the last time you truly understood a complex concept. Was it when you just read about it, or was it when you had to explain it to someone else? For most of us, it's the latter. There's a profound difference between passive consumption and active production. When you're explaining something, your brain is forced to engage with the material on a much deeper level. You're not just recalling information, you're organizing it, simplifying it, connecting different pieces of knowledge, and anticipating potential questions. This cognitive heavy lifting is precisely what makes teaching such an effective learning tool. In the context of English, this means moving beyond just understanding grammar rules or vocabulary definitions. It means internalizing them to the point where you can articulate them clearly and accurately. It means transforming abstract linguistic concepts into concrete, understandable explanations. And here's the kicker: you don't need to be a certified English teacher to reap these benefits. You just need a willingness to share what you know. Practical tip 1: start small. The buddy system. You don't need to launch your own YouTube channel or stand in front of a classroom of 30 students. Start with someone you know, a friend, a family member, a colleague who's also learning English, or even someone who's just starting their journey. This buddy system is incredibly effective because it reduces the pressure. You're not performing, you're collaborating. Example from South Korea: I remember hearing from a listener, Minjun, who was living in Seoul. He was quite proficient in English, but he felt he often stumbled when trying to explain nuances. He started meeting weekly with his younger cousin, who was just beginning to learn English in middle school. Minjun would explain basic grammar points, present simple, past tense, articles, and help his cousin with homework. He told me that in trying to explain why we use a versus an, he suddenly had to solidify his own understanding of vowel sounds and definite and indefinite articles. He had known the rules, but explaining them made him master them. He even found himself correcting his own minor errors as he spoke because he was hyper-aware of setting a good example. Practical tip 2: focus on what you know best, your strengths. Don't feel like you need to be an expert in every single aspect of English. Identify your strengths. Are you great at pronunciation? Do you have a strong grasp of phrasal verbs? Are you a whiz with business English vocabulary? Focus on those areas. This not only makes you feel more confident as a teacher, but also ensures that the information you're sharing is accurate and well understood by you. Example from Brazil. Maria, a listener from São Paulo, had a fantastic grasp of English idioms and colloquialisms, having spent a year abroad. Her friend, however, struggled to understand native speakers because they often used expressions she hadn't learned in textbooks. Maria started a weekly idiom deep dive session with her friend. Each week, she'd pick 3 to 5 common idioms, explain their literal meaning, their figurative meaning, and provide several example sentences. To do this, Maria had to really think about the nuances of each idiom, its origin, if she knew it, and the contexts in which it was appropriate. This process not only reinforced her own knowledge, but also expanded it, as she often looked up additional examples in origins to make her explanations more comprehensive. Practical tip 3. Utilize technology, online platforms, and forums. The internet has opened up a world of opportunities for connecting with English learners from every corner of the globe. Websites like Reddit, language exchange apps, and even specific Facebook groups dedicated to English learning can be great places to offer your assistance. Example from India. Raj, a student from Mumbai, was particularly strong in written English and enjoyed grammar. He started spending an hour a few times a week on a popular English learning forum. He would look for posts where learners were asking for explanations of grammar rules, corrections on their writing, or advice on specific vocabulary. Raj wouldn't just give the answer. He'd explain why the answer was correct, often referencing specific rules or providing alternative phrasings. He told me that the sheer variety of questions forced him to think about grammar in ways he hadn't before. He had to articulate complex ideas concisely and clearly in writing, which significantly improved his own written communication skills. The act of explaining the difference between affect and effect, or when to use who versus whom, became a powerful learning exercise for him. Practical tip 4. Create content, blogs, vlogs, or simple study guides. If you're feeling a bit more ambitious, consider creating your own small pieces of content. This could be a simple blog post, write about a common English mistake you see, or explain a difficult grammar point. A short video. Explain a phrasal verb or a pronunciation challenge. A study guide. Compile a list of common errors you've noticed and how to correct them. The act of planning, researching, and producing this content will solidify your understanding in a way that simply consuming information never could. You become the editor, the fact-checker, and the presenter all rolled into one. Example from Germany. Lena, who had achieved a C1 level in English, felt there were many nuances of German to English translation that she could help others with. She started a small blog where she'd often compared German grammar structures with English ones, highlighting common pitfalls for German speakers learning English. Her articles explaining the differences in word order or the use of prepositions were incredibly popular. Lena found that when researching and writing these articles, she had to re-evaluate her own internalized rules for both languages, making her a more precise and articulate speaker and writer in English. She even noticed when native English speakers made errors that mirrored common German mistakes, which showed how deeply she was understanding the underlying linguistic principles. Practical tip 5. Engage in corrective feedback, gently and constructively. When you're helping someone, you'll naturally come across their mistakes. This is a golden opportunity for both of you. For them, it's a chance to learn. For you, it's a chance to practice identifying errors and explaining corrections. Key here is to be constructive, not critical. Don't just say, "That's wrong." Explain why it's wrong and offer a correct alternative. Focus on one or two major errors at a time. Overloading someone with corrections can be discouraging. Use "I noticed," or perhaps you could say, instead of accusatory language. Example from Japan. Kenji, a Japanese listener, was teaching English to junior high students as a volunteer. He noticed that many students struggled with the L and R sounds, a common challenge for Japanese speakers. Instead of just correcting them repeatedly, He developed a series of tongue twisters and minimal pair exercises, such as light versus right, as he demonstrated and explained the mouth positions, the movement of the tongue, and the airflow. He became incredibly attuned to the subtle differences himself. He even started practicing in front of a mirror to ensure his own pronunciation was perfect for demonstration. This constant focus on articulation and precise sound production significantly refined his own English pronunciation. The benefits beyond language acquisition. Beyond the direct improvement in your English, teaching others brings a host of other advantages. 1. Increased confidence. When you're successfully explaining a concept or help someone understand something, your confidence in your own abilities soars. This positive reinforcement is crucial for long-term learning. 2. Deeper understanding. As we've discussed, teaching forces you to move beyond superficial knowledge. You have to synthesize, analyze, and present information, leading to a much more profound understanding of the language. 3. Improved communication skills. Explaining complex ideas simply and clearly is a vital skill in any language. Teaching hones your ability to articulate thoughts, simplify concepts, and use appropriate vocabulary. 4. Enhanced listening skills. To effectively teach, you need to listen carefully to the questions and struggles of your learner. This develops your active listening, helping you understand different accents, speaking styles, and levels of proficiency. 5. Motivation and accountability. Knowing that someone else is relying on you can be a huge motivator. It creates a sense of accountability that pushes you to maintain and even accelerate your own learning. 6. Community and connection. Teaching creates bonds. You'll connect with people, understand their learning challenges, and build a network of fellow language enthusiasts. This sense of community can make your learning journey more enjoyable and sustainable. Addressing common concerns. But Sarah, what if I make a mistake? This is perhaps the most common fear, and it's a valid one. Here's my advice. Embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. If you make a mistake, acknowledge it, correct it, and explain why it was a mistake. This models a fantastic learning attitude for your student and shows them that it's okay to not be perfect. Let's look that up together. If you don't know the answer to a question, be honest. Say, "That's a great question. I want to make sure I give you the most accurate information. Let's look it up online right now." This shows intellectual honesty and teaches your student how to be an independent learner. Focus on what you do know. As mentioned before, start with your strengths. You don't need to be a walking dictionary or grammar encyclopedia.
Example from Egypt. Omar, a listener from Cairo, initially hesitated to teach because he was worried about making errors, especially with more obscure grammar rules. He decided to focus on everyday conversation and vocabulary with a friend who was just starting English. When his friend asked about a specific tense he wasn't entirely sure about, Omar didn't panic. He said, "That's a tricky one. I'm pretty sure it's..." his best guess, but let's quickly check a reliable grammar website to be 100% certain. They looked it up together, confirmed the rule, and both learned from the experience. Omar found that this openness actually built more trust with his friend. Getting started. Your action plan. Number 1. Identify a student. Who do you know that could benefit from your English knowledge? A friend, family member, colleague, or even someone online? Number 2. Define your focus. What aspects of English are you strongest in? What areas do you feel most confident explaining? Number 3, choose your medium. How will you teach? Weekly chats, online forum contributions, a small blog, creating simple study guides. Number 4, set realistic goals. Don't commit to more than you can handle. Even 30 minutes once a week can make a significant difference for both you and your student. Number 5, be patient and consistent. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Consistency is key for both learning and teaching. And number 6, reflect and refine. After each session or interaction, take a moment to reflect. What went well? What could you explain better next time? What questions did you struggle with? Final thoughts from Sarah. Improving your English by teaching others is one of those beautiful linguistic paradoxes that just works. It transforms you from a passive receiver of information into an active architect of understanding. You're not just reciting rules, you're applying them, dissecting them, and making them accessible to someone else. This process forces you to confront your own gaps in knowledge, clarify your understanding, and articulate your thoughts with precision and confidence. So, if you're looking for a fresh, engaging, and incredibly effective way to take your English to the next level, I urge you to give this a try. Find someone to teach, embrace the challenge, and watch how your own mastery of English flourishes in the process. Remember, every time you help someone else learn, you're also teaching yourself. And that, my friends, is a win-win situation. That's all for today's episode of Let's Master English. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep sharing your knowledge. Bye for now.